Hello dear friends, sorry for the delay, I've just finished an online conference. A lot of news has already come out about the long-awaited Pentagon UFO report, and the general feeling is one of disappointment, with only 9 pages with little data written in bureaucratic language, so as to not get too wet. But did you expect anything else? Opinion piece. The UFO report disappointed. Did you expect anything else? The report mentions 144 studies. It offers more questions than answers. It has only 9 pages with few data. No mention of it, but asks for more money. Intelligence has no explanation for the mystery. What if we are the ants in a web of civilizations? Discovery of extraterrestrial life would cheer us up. French Space Agency publishes 600 UFO cases. Secret base in New Mexico to breed human hybrids. Public pressure is mounting and the dam will break in the end. Let's start. Pentagon's long-awaited UFO report makes no mention of star visitors, but calls for more money for US researchers. The intelligence community's recently released report of unexplained aerial phenomena offers more questions than answers. It doesn't mention beings from other worlds, but says UFOs could be a threat to national security and calls for more funding to investigate them. The word extraterrestrial appears nowhere in the report. Its recommendations amount to calling for an added investment for the resource-intensive process of collecting, standardizing, and streamlining reports across the government that would enable a more sophisticated analysis of UFOs that would likely deepen our understanding. Earlier this month, Chinese media reported that People's Liberation Army maintains its own database of unexplained encounters and has been overwhelmed by the large number of reports in recent years, according to RT. 9 pages, released Friday afternoon by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the full unclassified report is only 9 pages long, written in bureaucratic language, including 2 pages of appendix defining terms. It says they were only able to identify one reported UFO with high confidence. In that case, they identified the object as a large deflated balloon, again a weather balloon. The other cases remain unexplained. The report was mandated by the 2020 bill that funds the US intelligence community, and its release has long been anticipated. Some of the data collected by the CIA obtained throughout Freedom of Information requests by an enthusiast was released in mid-January. The data set on which the government reports are based investigates incidents between November 2004 and March 2021. However, no standardized reporting mechanism existed until the Navy established one in 2019 and the Air Force adopted in the following year. The report cites 144 studies, of which 80 involved observation with multiple sensors. While some UFOs could be attributed to sensor anomalies, most likely represent physical objects, since they were recorded throughout multiple sensors, including radar, infrared electro-optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. One of the 144 reports, there were 21 referring to 18 incidents that described unusual movement patterns or flight characteristics of UFOs, such as moving upwind, sudden maneuvers, or moving at considerable speed without means of propulsion. It is believed that these reports could be the result of sense error, forgery, or observer misperception, and therefore would require additional rigorous analysis, the office said. 5 categories. If the incidents are resolved, according to the report, the intelligence community believes they will fall into 5 potential categories: airborne clutter, such as birds, balloons, drones, or plastic bags; natural atmospheric phenomena, such as ice crystals; government or industry research projects; foreign adversary systems; and others. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence couldn't confirm that classified government or industry research and development programs represented any of the UFO reports we collected. Some sightings could be technologies developed by China, Russia, and another power. If that is the case, the UFOs would represent a national security challenge, as well as a threat to flight safety. But the researchers said they currently lack data indicating that any UFOs are part of a foreign espionage program or indicative of a major technology advance by a potential adversary. Experts indicate that technological development will allow today's misunderstood phenomena to fall into 5 broad categories. The first is aerial clutter, where weather balloons, birds, recreational vehicles, and debris will be classified. The second one is atmospheric phenomena, ice crystals, humidity, and thermal fluctuations that can be picked up by radar or infrared systems. The third category is geopolitics. It accepts that some objects may be attributable to classified developments and programs by the US government. The fourth point points out that it could be technology deployed by rival powers such as China or Russia. The fifth category, called Other, is the most important of all. It encompasses almost everything that is unexplained. We may require additional knowledge to successfully collect, analyze, and characterize some of these unidentified aerial phenomena. We group some objects in this category pending scientific advances that will allow us to better classify them, the paper states. Statement by Senator Marco Rubio. Senate Select Committee of Intelligence Vice Chairman Marco Rubio, Republican of Florida, issued a statement on the unclassified report on unidentified aerial phenomena issued by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. In quotes, For years, the human beings we trust to defend our country reported encounters with unidentified aircraft that had superior capabilities, and for years their consent was ignored and ridiculed. Rubio said, This report is an important first step in cataloging these incidents, but it is only a first step. The Department of Defense and the intelligence community have a lot of work to do before we can truly understand whether these air threats represent a serious national security problem. Also in France, The French counterpart of the UFO Working Group reporting to French Space Agency provides a detailed analysis of 600 UFO cases over 64 years according to Gautam Pedada. The French Space Agency is a little-known unit that investigates unidentified aerial phenomena and makes public its findings from the Unidentified Aerospace Phenomena Information and Research Group. The agency has released a report covering more than 600 incidents recorded by pilots over a 64-year period. The paper focuses on 290 of these incidents when the unidentified aerial device had or could have had an impact on flight safety. While the study has received little attention, there are several data points that are essential to establish or verify particular aspects of the phenomena. It will be fascinating to see if the report to Congress has comparable results or if they will release these findings into the public arena. The phenomenon. Pilots classify the things they see into two categories: points of flight and objects that have a solid appearance. The UFO reported by pilots and crews is described as material or three-dimensional solid appearance in more than three-quarters of the cases, 74%, although it is most commonly reported as objects, which come in a variety of shapes. The most commonly reported shapes are round or elliptical, with metallic appearance, a sphere, silver disc, etc. Several bizarre shapes contradictory to traditional aerodynamic designs were also observed. The distribution of incidents by phase of flight reveals that a large majority of sightings occurred when the aircraft was in cruise flight. It should be noted that the pilot has more time to look at the sky during this phase of flight because the aircraft is often on autopilot. On the other hand, pilots focus their attention on flight and flight instruments throughout the other four phases. Interaction cases are those in which UFOs appear to react to the presence of an aircraft. Interaction between UFOs and aircraft were observed in 299 cases, almost 50%. These cases refer to the following events. First, UFOs performing maneuvers to approach, chase, or escape from aircraft. Second, dogfights with military aircraft. Third, UFOs cycling or maneuvering near aircraft. This category includes reports of electromagnetic impacts on aviation systems. The phenomenon approached the aircraft on a collision course on 78 occasions, and there was a near collision with the aircraft on 6 more. The pilot was required to take passive action on 31 occasions to avoid colliding with the UFOs, including 3 cases all involving commercial aircraft in which passengers were injured during the movement. Electromagnetic effects. The most problematic element of UFO contacts appear to be situations in which permanent or transient electromagnetic impacts on aircraft systems occurred during flight, either directly or indirectly, as a result of the relatively close presence of one or more UFOs. In 81 of the 600 cases chosen, reported electromagnetic interference was observed and reported 14%. 14%. Everything from radios to weaponry was affected. Rumors. Secret Dulce base in New Mexico to breed human hybrids. Bizarre conspiracy theories have been circulating in the media about the existence of the so-called Dulce base, a subway facility in New Mexico allegedly operated by grey extraterrestrials. The theory, first proposed by Albuquerque businessman Paul Benowitz and later coined by others, suggests that the facility is being run by greys, who have abducted humans and conducted extreme experiments on them. According to excerpts from the 1990 book The Ultimate Deception, written by Commander X, the Daily Star claims the author's real name is Milton William Cooper. The base would be home to human hybrids raised by nasty greys. There are at least 7 different levels in Dulce, with level 6 known as the Nightmarish Nightmare Hall. This level is used for most of the greys' experimentation, Commander X wrote in his book. The paper quotes a person who claimed to have been working in a slave camp under the spell of the greys. Apparently, the source said that, apart from half human, half octopus, he had also witnessed a host of other mysterious creatures at the base, including 6-foot-tall giants, also reptiles and hairy creatures that hands like humans are cry like babies. They mimic human words and also huge human lizard mixes in cages, the fugitive source told the author. Survey. Pilot study finds humans would be quite optimistic about the discovery of extraterrestrial life. Researchers at Arizona State University conducted a study to try to find the answer, and the article is titled, "How Will We React to the Discovery of Extraterrestrial Life?" The researchers looked at how language is used in the media from previous announcements of this type, with an emphasis on extraterrestrial microbial life. A large online sample was asked to write about their own and humanity's reaction to a hypothetical announcement of such a discovery, and another large online sample was asked to respond to a news article about the discovery of fossilized extraterrestrial microbial life in a Martian meteorite. If we were to come face to face with life off Earth, we'd actually feel pretty optimistic about it, said Arizona State University Assistant Professor of Psychology Michael Barnum, who represented the study's findings February 16th at the annual meeting of the Association for the Advancement of Science in Austin, Texas. The pilot studies papers focused on the 1996 discovery of possibly fossilized extraterrestrial Martian microbes, the 2015 discovery of periodic attenuation around Tabby's star believed to indicate the presence of an artificial constructed Dyson sphere, at the 2017 discovery of the Earth-like exoplanets in the habitable zone of a star. The pilot study found that the language used to describe these events elicited much more positive than negative feelings. In a second study, the researchers invited more than 500 people to write about their possible reactions to the discovery of extraterrestrial microbial life as well as humanity's possible reaction. When considering their individual feelings, as well as those of humanity as a whole, the participants' responses revealed substantially more positive than negative emotions. In quotes, "I would be a little excited about the news," commented one participant. "Even if it existed a rudimentary form, it would be fascinating." Research in Portugal. What if we were the ants of this network of civilizations? Asked the UFO expert, who says we should prepare for imminent contact. The aliens would have underwater bases and would be trying to deter the human race from nuclear weapons because of the potential catastrophic damage, according to Gary Heseltine, vice president of the newly formed International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Research, reports Chris Sweeney. This is a non-governmental organization based in Portugal, which includes scientists, researchers, and academics from 27 countries. Its mission statement is "Prepare for Contact." Heseltine, a former British police detective, explained, "My competence and the competence of the coalition is what would stand up in a hypothetical court of law. We should be preparing now for the possibility that this is real, because the evidence says it's real. We are dealing with something that goes beyond the lights in the sky." To put it in perspective, in 3% of cases there is something that is a genuine phenomenon, defying explanation after investigation. 3% of millions of cases over the last 70 years is a lot. Impossible speed. Some experts report that these craft fly at hypersonic speeds with a G-force of 600, with no wings or visible propulsion system. As a comparison, an F-16 could fly only at half that speed and pull 9G. There is also a fighter pilot's account of seeing an aircraft drop from 6,000 feet to 50 feet in 0.8 seconds. Heseltine talks about observations that include instantaneous acceleration, instantaneous stop, instantaneous reversal of the same runway, all without deceleration and turns, at right angles with no deceleration at the turning point. Others are really hard to understand. He says this craft can go from invisible to visible with a click of a finger, and they emit no noise. Experts agree that all this is beyond military capabilities, even for secret and advanced programs. That's why there is a push for governments to release information for study, says Heseltine. He wants the scientific data on these incidents to be released, telemetry, radar performance characteristics, before the more scrutiny there is of the actual data, to more quickly it will be shown to be something that is not human created. UFO sightings and speculation began in earnest in the 1940s, and this is no accident, as it was when the first nuclear weapon was detonated. In quotes, "I believe that when we detonated our first atomic weapons, an invisible shockwave was sent out into space, which was picked up by other civilizations, and they realized that this creature on this planet has reached a level of technical achievement that allowed it to split the atom. Pressure mounts. Heseltine contends, the pressure is building. The dam will eventually break and collapse. We are not there yet, but I think in 6 months to a year, if the momentum builds, the dam will break quickly. Close quotes. In quotes again. And that's when we get into what we call the big reveal or big disclosure. You'll know when it happens because it will be available 24/7 on all new channels. There will be psychological implications for humanity to understand, and some people will have a hard time. In quotes again. Some people who think we were going to be invaded like in the movie Independence Day. Actually, there could be a lot of positives. What if they said we have a cure for cancer? What if we didn't have to use fossil fuels? They could have an anti-gravity machine, and that would help to the climate and the planet. Everyone, whether it's scientists, academics, the man and woman on the street, everyone would say it's the most profound moment in human history. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.